Rebecca Turner. Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget, you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see I'm not alone today. That always makes me happy. Joining us is your very Miss Mississippi, Miss Becky Williams, along with Austin Crabtree. He's one of the board members for the Miss Mississippi organization. And I got that wrong, Austin. So what's the formal organization for Miss Mississippi?
It's the Miss Mississippi Scholarship Organization.
Oh, I only missed one word. I thought.
Good job.
Good job. I thought that maybe there was America or something in there in that way, but I knew it was for Miss Mississippi. And you guys here to talk up the fact that, man, right around the corner, Miss Becky, you are going to be crowning the new Miss Mississippi, and there'll be a lot of good events going on between now and June. What's the date for Miss Mississippi 2025? Do we know? Or what's the week start?
June 7th through the 14th.
There we go.
We'll get there bright and early that Saturday morning, and somebody's going to compete for my job.
Compete for your job. And a good job you have been doing for almost 365 days. You got a few more months going down. So I don't think we've caught up with you, Becky, since you were newly crowned. I think you were gracious enough to give Good Things some of the first time once you got the crown. So what's the last, math is hard, but 8 months, 9 months been like for you?
It's been insane. Every day has been completely different than the last, and I was just telling Austin, I've never really been an employee before. This has been my first job experience, and for this to have been the first job, the bar is so high.
I was like, man, your other jobs, got a lot coming for you.
Right, but I've been in so many different environments. I've been with so many different types of people. I've heard so many different stories. I've gotten to serve. I've gotten to do really fun things, and it really just does. This year gives you the chance to see Mississippi in a brand new way. And having grown up here my entire life and having been in my little bubble down in Purvis, Mississippi, getting to experience the entirety of this state in this light has been such a blessing to me.
And then you've got a little bit of time left to do of that service, which I think folks just don't recognize once you get the crown, what a job it is. I like that you use that sort of word, or that you're sort of an employee in that respect. But you went on and you did an amazing job, too, on a bigger stage. What was it like being there for Miss America?
It was so surreal. Miss America was a beast of its own. And having survived those 11 days in Orlando, that's what I'm proud of. But it was such an awesome experience, and especially getting to see my teen, Brooke, do so well on the teen stage and doing the best that Mississippi has ever done at Miss America's Teen, that was so awesome to see. But as far as me getting to experience all of those relationships that I've gotten to create with girls from across this nation and girls that I'm texting today even, that has been the best part of it, is the relationships I've made, the networking I've gotten to do. It's been incredible.
Austin, I also think that folks don't recognize that this is an organization. It's got a board who looks to making the best pageant possible to find the best representative for Mississippi to go out, and also to provide them these opportunities in terms of scholarship. So when you see one, like Becky and so many others that have just shined during their reign, how does it feel as a board that, the pageant got it right?
Well, as we are a 12-member board, and then we have our scholarship foundation, who's another asset to our corporation. That's a 5-member board. And when we see young ladies like Becky and Vivian O'Neill and Emmy Perkins and Holly Brand, it makes you feel successful as an organization to watch them use their scholarship dollars to further their education. And Becky just informed me right before we walked in that she's going to go to law school.
Oh, right.
And she's going to head to Ole Miss in the fall of 2026, hotty toddy. And that's the type of success we want. We want to train these young women when they leave our organization, whether it's a local title holder, a state title holder, or a national title holder. We want them to go on to be successful, not only in their life, but in their career.
Mm-hmm. And I think, too, Becky, it's one of those things where very few get the opportunity to wear the crown, right? But time and time again, we've talked to contestants here on Good Things, or they have their local title holders, and it feels like they're getting the same kind of opportunities, at least to further their career or gain confidence in certain areas, that even if you don't get the ultimate title, because there can only be one that wears the crown, that you still have a lot to gain from the experience.
Yeah, and this really is one of those things where it is exactly what you make it. So if you want it to be that propeller for your career and the rest of your life, it will absolutely be that for you, because they set it up for you that way. If you want it to just be a side gig that you're going to read to kids and that's what you find joy in as a title holder, that's what it can be for you. If you just want to wear a crown and take some pictures, that's what it can be for you. But the scholarship opportunities, the availability of people like Austin, like my board members who have supported me through any change in my plan or any change in my life so far, and I'm sure into the future as well, because of the relationships we've created, they would do anything for me if I needed them to. So hopefully I've made this the best it could be.
Well, part of this, too, is Mississippi backing their Miss Mississippi and understanding the call, inviting you to things and opening up their doors to come in. Now it's our turn to maybe help support the pageant and the things that are going. I know there will be a lot of events. Sure. It's not just coming to the pageant and supporting the pageant. It's also getting involved in some of the prior events leading up to the big week there in Vicksburg. So, Austin, what's happening?
So we have several events coming up. First is going to be our pickleball event that's coming up on Saturday, April the 5th, 2025. You know, pickleball is the number one sport right now in the United States. It's the number one growing sport. And so we'll host that at the Halls Ferry Tennis Courts, pickleball courts in Vicksburg. That's going to be a one-day tournament on Saturday, April the 5th. You can enter online at miss-mississippi.com, go under events, and there's a link for that. And then also, we're going to have a tennis tournament the next weekend at Halls Ferry Tennis Courts. It will be Friday, April the 11th through Sunday, April 13th. It's going to be a 3-day tournament. And high schoolers are welcome. We have high school all the way through. Oh, cool. So high school, $30 registration fee. And then for our adults, it will be $40 per event, and then an extra $20 per event if you choose to do more than just those events. And then on May the 23rd, Friday, May the 23rd, we're going to have our annual sport and clay shoot. The pickleball and tennis, this is our second annual on it. But our sport and clay has been going on for a long time.
It's my favorite.
It's
I'm
great.
So excited.
I won't tell you what I did last year to one of their golf carts at Turcotte Shooting Range. We'll get to that. Yeah. So we'll have that on Friday, May the 23rd, and that will be at Turcotte Shooting Range. Mm-hmm. And we will have a morning flight, 9:30 to 11. And then we'll have lunch 11:30 to 12:30, and then we'll have our evening flight. And we're going to start opening the registration for that here soon. We'd love to have anybody and everybody participate in pickleball, tennis, or the sport and clay shoot.
Even though it's obviously a good time, Austin, what else supporting these events? Where does that go? What are you also supporting?
We're also supporting not only people don't understand, we're not only supporting young women across our state. We're supporting the city of Vicksburg. We're supporting all the cities that support these young ladies. Those monies that are raised go right back to these young ladies to be able to go into college, career, whatever they decide to do. It goes right back for their benefit. And you talked about just a minute ago as a board member. It's a blessing to sit on this side of it and watch these young ladies, really work hard at the task of becoming Miss Mississippi. Obviously, we know only one's going to become Miss Mississippi, but all these ladies work individually hard in not only this job, but they work hard in their education, and it shows by the amount of scholarships that we put in for them to be able to go back and get their educational degrees.
And also back into their own communities, right?
That's
correct. Each one of these ladies come in with a platform. I don't think that's the word for it anymore.
CSI, Community Service Initiative.
Y'all keep changing it on me every year.
It's not us. It's not us.
But it doesn't matter how you word it. Mm-hmm. It's all that it's going back and doing good within the communities. And I personally take that back. I'm like, even if you don't get the crown or the big scholarship, you're encouraging these young ladies to have an investment into their local communities, looking and seeing, hey, where's there a gap that my gifts or talents can fill? And I feel like if all young people kind of had the encouragement to do that, our communities would continue to blossom in a good way. Are the ladies already picked for Miss Mississippi 2026? Like, are the contestants already pretty much gearing up and ready to go there in Vicksburg? Yes. I didn't know if there was any last minute
we've already had our orientation, so contestants are oriented, or delegates. That's another word we keep changing. Candidate, contestant, delegate, whatever it is. So we've got paperwork down. People are submitting their talents. People are submitting colors of costumes and whatever they want on their interview page that the judges will see.
And coming up with their shoe for the shoe parade?
Right. Well, no, we don't do that.
Okay. Well,
we do a parade.
You do a
A parade,
parade,
yes.
and there's a lot of great events too within it. We've got more with Austin and Miss Becky coming up next. Also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you take a little time to download that. Also, you can find us on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station, and you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV, and you can watch the Miss Mississippi 2025 Be Crowned coming up June. I'm going to guess that's the 14th, probably, Becky Williams. And it will always be streamed on local television there from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Some things never change. But we still have Austin. He's a board member along with our Miss Mississippi, Becky Williams, to talk about the upcoming events as well as the upcoming pageant. And one thing I love about at least the Miss Mississippi pageant that hasn't changed is people's enjoyment of tuning in and watching it live on television. It's like you have a buy-in. You know, a lot of the girls, that we're a small town here in Mississippi, and you know, you get to have that like root for the home team, right? And watch parties and all the thing. Did you grow up, Becky, like kind of taking part of that in terms of watching Miss Mississippi?
I really didn't until I was about 12 years old. I didn't really know about Miss Mississippi. My family grew up out of the state. We moved to Mississippi when I was 2, so Mississippi's all I know, and it's my home. But a lot of my family members are in Louisiana, and I have 2 older brothers, so I don't think pageants are very much their thing. I've made them their thing. But when Mary Margaret Heyer won, that was the first time that I said, oh, I could be Miss Mississippi, because she's from my area. I grew up in a different organization and looked up to her in that, and you know, just seeing her flourish through high school and then into college and then winning Miss Mississippi and being an incredible Miss Mississippi for 2 years, and in this position, seeing how difficult it would be to do that for 2 years and how gracefully she did it. That was a really big motivator for me.
So, Austin, obviously you hadn't competed in Miss Mississippi. I don't think.
And
really.
no plans to.
He's aged out.
He's aged out. Yeah, I love that. But clearly you have a passion for what the organization provides for Mississippi. So how did you find your way into the Miss Mississippi
I'm
organization?
glad you asked that. So my dad does a lot of sound work with Kimball Slayton, who is our sound engineer, music extraordinaire guy, and he got me to come help one year at the Vicksburg Convention Center. And you know, I took a few years off, and then through some connections, Tammy Folger-Sutter called me and said, would you help me with the finances? I need help with making sure that things are taken care of. And she was working a full-time job, and I was working a full-time job. And so I started working in that. And the next thing you know, I started emceeing the teen pageant. And the next thing you know, they asked me to be on the board, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. You know, for me as a Vicksburg, Mississippi guy, it's not only about just Vicksburg, but it's about the economic impact that it has across our state. And I'm elated when people ask me that question, because to say it's in Vicksburg, that means a lot to me as a hometown guy.
And has it always been in Vicksburg, Austin?
It hasn't, no. It was elsewhere.
He said that so sadly.
Yeah, no. But this will be, I believe it's the 67th crowning in Vicksburg. It will be our 92nd crowning of Miss Mississippi, but it will be our 67th in Vicksburg.
Well, it works, right? It's like when you hear Vicksburg, you automatically think of Miss Mississippi. The two kind of coincide. You guys have really perfected how to put on the pageant sort of there. If folks haven't come down, I encourage everyone, especially if you know a lady or not, or if you have young ladies in your life that would be interested in it, coming and watching some of the prelims. I mean, the main event, Becky, is a lot of fun, but like some of the prelims, to me, I think you get a little bit more like depth with them. So let's talk about, I know it's a couple months away, but what happens on that, like within that week? What are the different events, or however you delegates, whatever we're calling them ladies now, what all do they bring to the table in terms of before the actual crown is decided?
So that Saturday, June 7th, everyone will get to Vicksburg, and we'll crown our Magnolias and our Magnolia Bells, that's our little feeder program kind of, but it's a mentor program to make sure that the little girls across the state also know that they have role models in us as well. So we'll crown them, and then we'll have a little orientation, I believe, that night. And then early Sunday morning, we'll start getting to rehearsal. Monday, we'll start interviews and more rehearsal, and the Miss Mississippi Parade, that is an annual event for the competition. That Tuesday, we'll have, I think that's usually when we do a little luncheon, but there's more rehearsal, more interviews. And then that Wednesday is more rehearsal, more interviews, but that's when we kick off preliminary competition on stage. Thursday, same deal, rehearsal, preliminaries, Friday, rehearsal, preliminaries. Saturday is the big day. Miss Mississippi 2025 will be crowned, and she will be.
How fast does that week go by for a contestant?
Oh, it doesn't. In the moment, it feels like the longest week, but when I look back, it's in the blink of an eye, because you don't have much downtime. You're either at the Vamp party Saturday or Sunday night, or you're at the parade, or when you're even at rehearsals and the other group is practicing, you're still watching and taking in and soaking in and creating the relationships. And so your brain doesn't have time to think.
In terms of the town, Vicksburg, Austin, growing up, I know that the parade has changed a little bit from the Shoe Parade and other things, but it feels like there's always been some kind of community event or parade around the pageant once it gets there. What's it like around town when you guys know or recognize that it's time for the pageant?
People know. You can walk downtown and you see all these people. You go, I've never seen these people before. They're here for the pageant. And people immediately, gotcha. They know exactly what you're talking about. And you see people shopping. You see people eating at our restaurants. They're staying in our hotels. You just know. I mean, Vicksburg is booming during that week. So many businesses rely on Miss Mississippi Week. Back in 2020, when we didn't have Miss Mississippi, the businesses felt it because they rely a lot on this week, because so many people, I think it was between 3,000 and 4,000 people come to Vicksburg solely for Miss Mississippi.
You talked about growing up with your dad and doing the sound behind the stage. What would people be interested to know that, like, what's it like behind the stage? I mean, it's not just lights. It's not just somebody with a microphone calling ladies out. Like, what's the kind of scene backstage for those that are running it to put it on for the ladies and the audience? I will tell you this.
The army of volunteers that volunteer for Miss Mississippi, they don't get enough credit. It takes... We start meeting for production in September to start for June. And we meet usually monthly or every other month. And then starting this next month, we'll meet on a regular basis. Of course, we have our teen pageant at the end of April. So we're already meeting and producing for that. So we're meeting every month from here on out, and sometimes even weekly. We'll meet, and I'm going to tell you, the volunteers do not get enough credit. I mean, they're doing this really out of the goodness of their heart. Even our board members, none of us are paid. We are all volunteers, and we do it solely for these young ladies who are the future, not only of our state but of our country.
Right, and they're representatives of Miss Mississippi. So I mean of Mississippi on the next sort of level. So we kind of should all buy in. What kind of volunteers? I mean, if someone's listening and is like, I never knew I could volunteer for that. Who's the right volunteer for Miss Mississippi?
I'm so glad you asked that question.
Yes,
we've been talking about, we have some spots that will be coming available, and we need all hands on deck when it comes to that week, and we'll take any help that we can get, that anyone that is willing and has a love for volunteerism. You have to have a special calling to want to do something for nothing.
Correct.
And so if you're one of those people, you're coming to Vicksburg June 7th through 14th.
You at least get a T-shirt that says volunteer?
You can get I'll tell you this, you can get a Miss Mississippi T-shirt, and I'll make sure you get one, Rebecca. We'll get you a Miss Mississippi T-shirt.
I think if you volunteer, you should at least get a T-shirt. But
yeah. Anybody that's willing to do something for nothing, and to see the rewards at the end of the week. When you see that young lady crowned, I had the opportunity to actually MC the awards banquet afterwards. When you get to see that young lady be crowned, it's a moment that will change your life forever. It really will.
And it really does change young ladies' lives
Absolutely.
forever, as Becky can attest to. All right, so we've got a lot of things. We've talked about a lot of things today, Austin. If we want to do pickleball tournament, tennis tournament, or the clay shoot, where do we go to sign up for those?
You can go to miss-mississippi.com under events, and all the links are there. And you can also find on our website a form for patronships. If you want to be a patron, those people get early seating for Miss Mississippi and Miss Mississippi's teen. And we'll be putting the teen tickets already on sale, but we'll be putting the Miss tickets on very, very soon.
And you still have 3-4 more months left of your reign, Miss Becky. So if people want to follow you in your last days, but obviously, too, that we'll see what you're up to after. Sounds like you've got a lot of good coming up next. How do people connect with you?
Instagram, Facebook, they're all pretty simple. My Instagram is Miss America MS, Mississippi. Facebook is easy, just Miss Mississippi. And then my personal account is Becky.Williams_ or Becky Williams. But yes, I've got lots of things going on. I'm excited.
We're excited for you, and this is just the beginning for you. And I think that's the beauty of this. Even though it's a revolving door, it's just a leaping pad for the next young lady to come in and take their opportunities, as you sort of said, and move on. And for all the young ladies listening, don't be afraid to step on stage. You never know where it may lead. It could lead you here to talk to me.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for your time, and you all stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.